Hey guys, welcome to a new video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about raising a family in Atlanta, Georgia, south of the metro. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time here on the channel, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Raymond and I'm a real estate broker here in Atlanta. I help people just like you relocate to the Atlanta area, as well as help people that are in Atlanta move about and relocate to other areas in the city. So if you're thinking about making a move, whether you're in California or Atlanta, Georgia, all of my contact information will be in the description below. So feel free to use me as a resource and reach out to me and let's connect and do a consultation about what your needs are. All right, so without further ado, and also, I'm sorry. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and watching another video, and thank you for your support and supporting the channel. So in today's video, we're gonna be identifying the best places south of the Atlanta metropolitan area to raise your family. Yes, the suburban cities south of the metro that really don't get a whole lot of love. So we're going to do that today. I'm going to give you the top 5 cities that I feel that you should consider when thinking about where to raise your family. Right. So number 5 on the list is going to be Fayetteville, Georgia. Fayetteville, Georgia is a nice little quaint city. I like it a lot. It's one of those places that you can go to and kind of remember. It has that downtown, one road type feel. Very nice place to visit and very nice place to live. All right, so let's take a look at the population for Fayetteville. Population comes in at 19,456 residents and climbing. The racial makeup is highly concentrations of African Americans and a smaller concentration of other races, just to give you the diversity stats and makeup of that city. The medium listing price in that area is about $303,000. So very affordable place to live, considering that the Atlanta metropolitan area average listing price here is about $360 to $370. So definitely more affordable than other areas of Atlanta. So in today's video, I'm also going to break down some different categories for you, just to kind of give you some straight to the point type, how is this in this area, right? And so that'll kind of help me get through the video systematically and hopefully answering and giving you the reasons why I feel that this is a great city to raise your family. So the first category, and I'm also going to rank them from 1 to 5. I'm going to score them from 1 to 5. 5 being the best score possible, 1 being the worst score possible. Okay, so the first category we're going to look at is traffic. Fayetteville, Georgia gets a score of 4 for traffic. Internally, moving about Fayetteville is fairly easy to do. The biggest congested areas in Fayetteville is going to be right in that downtown area, as well as getting, out of the city limits. So right off that 85 corridor, you're going to get some bunching right there before you get to Interstate 85. But all in all, very, very, very easy to commute and easy to move around area. So the next category we're going to look at is going to be schools. I score Fayetteville a 4 when it comes to their schools. Fayetteville is going to be in the Fulton County Public School District. Fulton County Schools ranks number 5 amongst the best Atlanta metropolitan school districts. So still a very good school district that you can trust to produce a good education for your child. So for crime, the crime rate in Fayetteville, Georgia, I scored a 4. Not a lot going on in Fayetteville, Georgia, with the exception to property crimes. Things like thefts or property damage is one of the things that has been an issue in Fayetteville, Georgia over the years. But besides that, that's about it. So I do scored a 4 in that area, and that is in certain pockets of Fayetteville as well. It's not just citywide. So yes, a 4 for Fayetteville, Georgia, and the crime rate. So the next category we're going to look at is going to be real estate value proposition. I scored Fayetteville a 4 in this category, and the reason is because in Fayetteville you get a lot of bang for your buck. However, over time, what I'm noticing about Fayetteville is the acreage is getting smaller and smaller by the year. What I mean by that is essentially for a newer home nowadays in Fayetteville, you're going to get a lot less land than you would say if you wanted to purchase a mid to older home. So it just depends on your personal taste. But But all in all, you still get a very good value proposition because Fairburn does have a mixed feel. It has some rural areas, and it also have more of the urban feel in some districts in Fairburn. So just depending on what part of Fairburn you're going to be looking in, but overall value proposition ranks gets a score of 4 from me in that category. Lastly, let's look at the access to shopping and eateries. In my opinion, I scored Fairburn a 4 for shopping and eateries for Fairburn because it is on the smaller side and because it does have that rural side as well as that urban side. Most of the areas for shopping and eateries is going to be in the urban area. So just depending on where you live in Fairburn, it could be challenging to get really close to shopping, but all in all, still accessible within means. So it does score a 4 in that category. All right, so let's move on to our next city on our list, which is going to rank number 4 on our list, and that city is going to be Hampton, Georgia. Hampton, Georgia ranks number 4 on my list as to one of the best places in the South Metro to raise your family. Why is that? Well, let's just look at statistically for Hampton real fast. Population in Hampton, Georgia is only 8,600 residents and counting, with a very diverse racial makeup, making it a very diverse place to live. I don't know about you, but for me personally, I like diversity, and I personally want my children to experience diversity as much as possible. So Hampton, Georgia is definitely going to be a place that you can get that experience. The median home listing price in Hampton, Georgia is a little bit higher than Fairburn, coming in at $320,000. But you get a lot for your money there in Hampton, Georgia. Small town feel, a much smaller actually small town feel than Fairburn, because all of these cities that I'm going to give you in this list are relatively on a smaller population count, and they're all relatively small, but this one in particular is the smallest of the 5, so I get to say small town feel and be politically correct. All right, so let's look at the different categories in this for this particular city. So for Hampton, Georgia, in the traffic category, I scored a 5. Because it is a small town feel, you can move about the interior of Hampton, Georgia almost seamlessly. So the only time you're gonna get a little bit of traffic in Hampton is gonna be on weekends. And the reason that is because people may be coming in from McDonough to the east, heading towards Fairburn to the west. So it just depends on the day, like a Saturday or Sunday, you may get some congestion, as well as race day. So Hampton, Georgia is home to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So when the races here for NASCAR comes into town, you will get some congestion from that race, okay? But that's like, I think they do NASCAR maybe once or twice a year in Atlanta, but they also use the speedway for other things, like other activities like drag racing and things of that nature. So, maybe drag strip nights and things of that nature may get a little congested, but it's not gonna be anything to really talk about, honestly. All right, next category is gonna be schools. I score Hampton, Georgia a 4 in the schools category. Nestled in Henry County Public Schools, one of the top public school districts here in the metropolitan area. Is not ranked amongst the top 5, but it is still a good public school district indeed, and have produced a lot of scholars along the way. All right, so I do rank Hampton, Georgia, or score Hampton, Georgia a 4 in this category. Okay, so let's look at the crime rate for Hampton, Georgia. I scored a 5. Not a whole lot going on in Hampton, Georgia at all. Very small population. Most people know their neighbors, and so it's just one of those places where crime is not that prevalent. Not to say that there are no crime. There is no place in America with no crime. But when you look at the index rate compared to other areas, Hampton, Georgia is outperforming them hand over fist. Okay, so Hampton, Georgia receives a 5 for me when it comes to crime. All right, value proposition for Hampton, Georgia is absolutely one of the things that I think most people love about Hampton, Georgia. You get a lot of land, more land than Fairburn, indeed. So if you want that land and that space between your neighbors, Hampton, Georgia is going to be the place to look. I score Hampton, Georgia real estate value proposition a whopping 5 because it does deserve it. Very, very great value proposition as well. So you know, if you just do a quick Zillow, you can find it out. But that's the score when it comes to value proposition in regards to the real estate. Okay, last category for Hampton, Georgia is going to be access to shopping and eateries. I did score a 3 because Hampton, Georgia is so small that it does not have its own independent shopping areas or eateries. It really feeds off of McDonough and Lovejoy. So, you know, if certain things you may have to drive a little bit of a distance for. So for that reason, Hampton, Georgia does receive a score of 3 in the access to shopping and eateries category for me. Okay, so let's move on to our next city on our list. Coming in at number 3 is the beautiful city of McDonough, Georgia, just east of Hampton, Georgia. I could not leave it out. I tried to make sure I don't put, you know, like little, you know, every city, boom, 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 boom. It's like, well, I could look at the map to find that out. But no, McDonough, Georgia is, in my opinion, more superior than Hampton, Georgia, but a step up from Hampton, Georgia. It gives you a little bit more of the urban feel, a lot more concentration when it comes to commercial and retail than Hampton, Georgia. But not just comparing those two cities together. Let's just talk about McDonough, Georgia, for a second. Let's look at the population in McDonough, Georgia. 29,828 residents and climbing, with a decently diverse area for Henry County, Georgia, with a median listing price of $359,000, a little bit higher than Hampton, but still under the metropolitan average for sure. Okay. Now let's look at the categories particular so you can get that scorecard. So first category, traffic. I scored McDonough a 3 in the category for traffic. McDonough, Georgia has received a lot of growth, and it is exponential. It is happening really fast, and a lot of times when you have really fast growth, typically what happened, in my opinion, it just creates a congestion. And that's what has happened in McDonough. Certain times of the day, McDonough can be very congested to move about, considering, you know, its size, right? But so during like the later afternoon times, right in the downtown district, you'll have some congestion, and all of the time on the weekends, mostly afternoon into the early evening, you're gonna have some congestion in McDonough because there are so many people moving around, either coming in from Hampton or leaving McDonough going into the interstate. So a lot of congestion in those particular time frames, but still not like Atlanta traffic congestion. But you will, you know, it may take you maybe 2 or 3 more minutes to get there if there were not traffic, basically. Okay. So the next category is going to be schools. So I scored McDonough, Georgia a 5 on our grading scale when it comes to schools. Although it is still in Henry County schools, what makes McDonough different is just the level of performance in those individual schools. McDonough schools are performing a little bit better than those up the road there in Hampton, but still great public school district, indeed, Henry County Public School District. But for the purposes of scoring each of these cities, I do give the score of 5 to McDonough, Georgia in the category of schools. All right, looking at the crime rate for McDonough, Georgia, I do score it a 5. Very decently safe place to live compared to other areas here in the Atlanta metropolitan area. Next category is going to be real estate value proposition. Real estate value proposition in McDonough is similar to Hampton, but in my opinion, it's a little bit better because you get a little bit better schools, you get a lot more commercial districts. So I give the McDonough scorecard a 5 in the real estate value proposition category because it just outperforms, and it is definitely really good. And we're gonna look at that as well as far as the access to shopping right now. So access to shopping and eateries, I also score McDonough a 5 in that category. One of the things that make McDonough so unique is it has multiple retail commercial areas or districts. Not not only do it have two or three of their own independent pockets, but it's also close to another one. About 10 minutes down the road, you'll find Locust Grove, Georgia off Interstate 75, and that houses Tanger Outlet. And so if you're really into, shopping for clothing and things like that, you'll find a lot of great shops there in Tanger Outlet there in Locust Grove. But if you don't want to leave McDonough, that's okay. You can head over to South Point, which is one of their newest developments in McDonough. Over 600,000 square foot of commercial retail space. So you can find just about anything you're looking for in that area. And if that doesn't have it, then you can go right up the other side off of Highway 20. Is that 20? Or Jonesboro Road exit, you'll find another big concentration of eateries and shopping. You got your Best Buy, you got your I think they have a trampoline place still there. So you got a lot of different places to visit or to have independently to McDonough, to where you're not having to leave McDonough and drive into Atlanta to do something fun, or drive into Atlanta to find a certain type of product that you're looking for, okay? So you can actually independently live in McDonough and find about 85 to 90% of things that you may need, okay? So that is the overall makeup of McDonough. Let's move on over to our next city on our list. Coming in at number 2 is gonna be none other than Fayetteville, Georgia. Fayetteville, Georgia is probably my favorite city on this list. Honestly, I know I probably said that already. Have I? I don't know. Maybe I have. But Fayetteville, Georgia is definitely a very great place to visit and live. So let's just jump into Fayetteville, Georgia. All right, the city with no limits on imagination. You'll find Fayetteville, Georgia with a population of 18,645 residents and climbing. So the median list price is higher than McDonough. It is $379,000. So it is getting on par with the Atlanta metropolitan area. Okay, so let's take a look at the scorecard for Fayetteville. So, first category, traffic. I score Fayetteville a 3 in traffic. Traffic in Fayetteville is a little bit of a nuance. Because of the situation, the way it's situated, getting to Fayetteville is a challenge. And when you get into Fayetteville, you're competing with people that may not necessarily be staying in Fayetteville. Primarily, they may just be passing through. But because of the way it's situated, you will have some, a little bit of traffic depending on the time and day that you are, traveling about. But the residential areas are pretty easy to move about, but when you get into the downtown square of Fayetteville, it can get a little bit congested. Okay, so I do score a 3 in the traffic category. So the schools for Fayetteville, I do scored a 5. Fayetteville is in the Fayette County Public School District, which is the number 2 best public school district here in the Atlanta metropolitan area. Very aggressive school district with high test scores, high graduation rates, and they're always doing things to prepare their students for like the reality of life, like the real world. One of the programs they recently launched in the last year or so is their aviation program. But anyway, Fayetteville is close to Peachtree City, which has a high concentration of pilots that live in that area. So there is a aviation program in the school district, in the public schools for Fayetteville, or for Fayette County Public Schools. So again, things like that are always gonna make things very attractive when you're talking about, raising your family. So anyway, I do score Fayetteville a 5 in the category of schools. Very, very good school district. All right, let's look at the crime rate. Crime rate in Fayetteville is relatively low. I do score a 5. Okay, and I don't really have much to say like about crime rates and stuff. I mean, like, it's just this is my scorecards on it. I will always drop a link anytime you hear me talking about crime. I always drop a link to where you can research more information about like crime, and you can see specific data points and specific numbers. But if I'm telling you a scorecard about crime, it's because it is below the national average, and then the Georgia average, as well as the metropolitan average. Okay, so that's how I bring you the crime score. All right, moving on over to the next category for Fayetteville is going to be the real estate value proposition. Where do I see the value proposition for Fayetteville? Well, I give it a 5. I give it a 5 because for the things that you get in Fayetteville, you get great public schools, and in Fayetteville, you get a really decent amount of space. You get a lot of land. You get a lot of land, a lot of acreage for your buck, okay? And also, Fayetteville is one of those situations where it's kind of like Fairburn, where it has two kind of feels or vibes. You can have a very rural area of Fayetteville, or you can have a very urban area of Fayetteville. I guess more traditional suburban, right? So you kind of have the mix between those two feels. And so if you're looking for real estate in the, like if you're looking for a really large lot, a lot of acreage, you can find it. You may be on the rural side of Fayetteville, but you can find it, okay? So with that being said, I give it a 5 in the real estate value proposition category, okay? Lastly, the access to shopping and eateries, I do give it a 5 as well, because Fayetteville, another situation is it has a high concentration of retail and commercial, independent, into their own area. So you can find just about anything you're looking for in Fayetteville. And if you can't find it in Fayetteville, between McDonough and Peachtree City, you can find it, okay? So I do give it, a 5 when it comes to close access to those eateries. And downtown Fayetteville is really nice. You got some shopping right on the square. You got some eateries right on the downtown areas. So definitely direct access to shopping and eateries. All right, so moving right along to our number 1 best place to raise your family south of the Atlanta metropolitan area, and that city is going to be Peachtree City, Georgia. Peachtree City, Georgia. Plan to stay. That is their motto. So when you go there, you're gonna get hooked. You're gonna see all those little golf carts riding around. You're gonna see all of the lush vegetation. You're gonna see how they have developed this city, and it looks almost like it's just nestled in trees. Like when they build properties or like commercial space in Fayetteville, like they have limits on how many trees they can cut down. Like literally, it feels so vibrant. It feels so established and mature. So if you like that ambiance or that vibe, definitely Peachtree City is gonna be a place for you for sure. Now let's look at the statistics and the demographics in Peachtree City. Population is 37,801 and climbing. It is a decently diverse, not as diverse as some areas that we've looked at so far today, but you see the diversity stats on the screen. The median listing price in Peachtree City is coming in at about $459,000, which is more than any of the city that we've looked at. But when you put together all of the pieces, it is still a very reasonably priced city amongst the United States for what you get. All right, so let's take a look at the categories and put a wrap on this video. So let's look at the traffic category for Peachtree City. I scored a 4. Peachtree City is situated really nicely, tucked right off Interstate 85. You do have to drive a little distance to get, directly to the interstate, but all in all, I do score a 4 on traffic. Internally, you do have a little congestion during the weekends times, so just kind of be mindful of that. But all in all, you can move about the city pretty decently. And one of the things that take the traffic count down in Peachtree City is the fact that golf carts are highly encouraged in Peachtree City. So you kind of take the amount of cars off the road to go to just your shopping or different areas and moving about the city very conveniently. So with that being said, I do score a 4 in the traffic category. So moving on over to our next category, which is gonna be the schools. I do score Peachtree City a 5 in the school category. Simple. Fayette County Schools, one of the best public school districts here in the Atlanta metropolitan area. Simple as that. Moving right along to the crime rate. My score is simple as that. It's going to be a 5 for Peachtree City. It is one of the safest places to live in Atlanta metropolitan area. I think in publications down through the years, it's been voted one of the safest places to live in America. So very safe place to live indeed. Real estate value proposition for Peachtree City, I do score a 4, and here's why I scored a 4. Peachtree City is growing. One of the disadvantages, in my opinion, is the fact that in Peachtree City, you're gonna be very close to your neighbor. You don't get a lot of acreage. And I think that's personally because they're trying to put as many people in, or that I'm not gonna say they're trying to put as many people in Peachtree City, but the growth, the demand, so many people want to get into this area that the builders are simply trying to put as many homes as they can in the land that they own. So with that being said, you know, you don't get as much space in Peachtree City than you would get in Fayetteville. So, so for that reason, I do score Peachtree City a 4 when it comes to real estate value proposition, okay? Also, the homes are gonna be typically on the smaller end as well. So cost per square foot is gonna be a lot higher in Peachtree City than say Fayetteville, McDonough, Hampton, you know, Fabric, so on, okay? So value proposition, I do score a 4. All right, access to eateries and shopping, I do score Peachtree City a 5. Very easy to move about, to get to anything that you need to get to as far as shopping. They have some of the big brand names there in Peachtree City. You also have some small luxury brands there as well, because of the medium household income in Peachtree City is on the higher side. So you definitely get some more luxury brands and more retail boutiques that cater to that way of life as well. So definitely shopping and eateries, fine dining, you can get it right there in Peachtree City. You don't have to drive to Atlanta to experience that at all. So very independent in that respect. All right, guys, I hope you have enjoyed taking a look at the best cities to raise your family in the South metropolitan area. For sure, it was a blast bringing you this video. And drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought about the cities that I laid out. If you are a resident of one of those cities, chime in the comments. Let's have a conversation to talk about what your experience is of your great city. Definitely share with the people. So thank you so much for watching the video. Also, please subscribe to the channel so that way you'll be notified when I post more content just like this, giving you information about living in Atlanta, surrounding areas, best places to live, best suburbs, best this, everything. Anything you want to know about Atlanta, this is the channel for you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on so you'll be notified when I post more content. And also, if you're interested in doing anything real estate related as it relates to buying a home in Atlanta or selling a home in Atlanta, I would love to be a resource to you. All of my contact information in the description below. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.